video to go over the new ComfortSoft 9 that's just been recently made available from Siemens. Some of the new features that have come out, so just a comparison between the different versions. I'm skipping 7 because I didn't really bother with that one. So it's a massive increase in the function blocks to 800 from the 400 we've seen on 8.4, and then the 6 at 200. Some of the bit interesting ones: 64 digital inputs over 24. That's a big increase. There's 60 outputs over 20. The flags have increased to 128, which will be helpful if you're doing stuff with KTP 700 basics or the basic displays from Siemens where you need to use the flags for error commands. They've doubled the analog outputs. Not increased the text boxes, but because they've got the new colour display, you get a lot more on the display than you could otherwise. So I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue, because you don't need as many screens to show what you try as much as what you try to do. The analog outputs, again, they've doubled. More program memory, doubling the analog flags, and they've also created a new flag type, which is the float flags. So if you're struggling with analog flags, which in some programs I do, and end up making a threshold trigger and then putting an open connector on the end to make an analog flag, that might stop doing that, because obviously it wastes 2 function blocks. Just to, if you had the flag, you could just use the one. Open connectors, they doubled them. Network inputs, that's a massive increase. That'll be handy for if you want to like read Modbus off meters or other controllers. Another massive increase, and another massive increase on the UDF instances. Network input outputs 480. Again, these are massive numbers. That the numbers that you're probably never ever going to get anywhere near. And then they've give you 32 of these float analog flags, and they've created these 2 types of inputs on the network, which are the float. So if we go into the program, these are the new functions that they've added, which is your network analog flag, float network analog flag, float analog flag, network analog output, network analog input, and I've put a few of these on here, and this is that float analog flag. So not a great deal of difference here. So it's coming from, and it's giving you the options for the extended. Again, on the output, it's the same. You want to send it to a device, blah blah blah, and it supports all them. Analog input, only differences there is you can now use this 409 and it comes up with this error. In fact, I didn't see any issue when I did it. I can't see what that's going to be used for other than internally in the program, because I don't think the analog output cards or input cards are any bigger than the bit. I think they're a 12-bit ADAC, analog to digital converter. The big one, rid of that spare. This is a real nice tool that they've done here, straight off this float calculation and function block. Come on. You can do an advanced one, which allows you to actually do square root, and so you can do. Let's get my head around how you do it. Yeah, I've done that wrong. Yeah, square root. Something easy. Straight off the bat, you can just do that, and if you go into simulation mode, it'll tell you the square root. So you don't have to do. It's a function if you're doing something. I did a project in the past where I had to find out the power factor, and all I got is kVA in kilowatts. Is that right? No, I got VARs. I can't remember. Anyway, I needed to find the square root of something, and ended up having to do it through just iterations. So using the full cycles and then calculating it down, it wasn't very precise, and it was really complicated. And if we'd just had this function then with these advanced functions, so we could have just done the cos and the cos phi, and we could have used the square root. A few nice ones here. These are all great things to see. You've got pi, and if you want to see what it expresses, how far it goes in pi. Okay, I'm going to simulate. I mean, see, it's got quite a big number there for your pi. Obviously, with all the additional memory, they've also added this new screen. The screen, as you can see, there's a lot more space on this. Is all touchscreen. I've not got any physical hardware. That's still about 6 weeks out from the wholesaler. I have got the prices from the wholesaler. They don't seem too out of the way without the VAT. UK sterling, I think it was £120 for the relay 12 volt, 24 volt RCE module, and about £155 for the TDE display, which is about the same as what we were paying for the Logo 8.4 stuff. No, you'd come out of this simulation mode. We're into here. You add stuff like you would do before, so you just go and then insert program, and then you can move it around, you can extend it. It's quite different than the old system, so you can extend them out and you can change the colours. There's a that I don't like this, what they've done here, where you can add a line but you can't. This line here is denoting the base module PLC display, and then the rest of it is the area you gain. Won't let, well, no, it lets me do it. I don't. There seems to be a bug with that. I'm not. Delete it and just create a new. Yeah, it stops it there. Now I think if you do that, not that. Will it let me? No, but then I put it back. There's clearly a way of making it go over that, but I can't. It won't let me do it if I do it there. Will it let me if I delete that one? It's just annoying because it's clearly it's not. You just watch me there do it. It's just one of them annoying things that you'd want to be able to extend your text, and clearly there's a way of doing it, but I can't. It still won't let me do it. I wonder if you come out. Back in. Right, so there's the bug there. So if you want to expand it, you've got to come out and go back in. So that's going to be annoying, but I'm sure they'll fix that by version 10, maybe. And then the rest of it, these sliders, I can't set these up at the moment, so I'm going to show you another little bug that they've got. I played around with them. You can make them anything you want. I think that's just an icon. I don't think that's a switch. I think these are your buttons. Not too sure how you do your function buttons, but as I've not got any hardware, it might be one of the drop down menus. And then you can sort of say what it's going to do. And again, this is going to memory, so I'm not too sure how you do the function buttons yet. I've not played around with it enough. We go into the main program. The other little bit that's really quite exciting, if we go into the simulation mode, I will change this mathematical block to. So if we go for the some big numbers, which the Logo 8.4 no way could have coped with. If you go over 10 million, it does this exponent thing. So I think that's where you're losing. See, it's happily dealing with the big numbers, the bigger numbers than the 32,600. Big number there. Again, if you go over, so you're at 10 million, if you go, you can deal with it. Now, I'm interested to see whether that can cope with that number. Will it show that if you did a Modbus read and you'd see that as a value? Um, Again, can you do? I'm not put it in a tag table. You can use these sliders to. Again, that looks like another nice little bug that they've got because I've just pressed it and it's now lost the plot. I've just put a graph bar on here. So if I've raised that to vegan. So it's the same type of graph bars that we would have on the logo, and I've just scaled that 0 to 1000. So that's the screens. Another function that I can't seem to understand. I think you can change the background, not that one. Just on this mathematical one, once you start playing with it, you can be plus 1000 minus 200 divided by 3. So it doesn't. So it doesn't like it when you get over a certain amount. But yeah, but it's more than what we had before, and with these advanced functions, it's going to be really helpful if these big numbers. Um, there's this button here. I haven't managed to figure out what you're supposed to do in here. So if I wanted to add that, now what do I do with it? These are backgrounds, I think. So I was kind of hoping we were going to get. So already we're having fun with it. I have been able to put something on the background, but again, I think it just needs playing with. I'm sure it's going to be something nice we can do. I've not seen anything in the wild yet that to say how this is going to look. The other problem I've got is it's give us a tag table. So in here, when you generate the logo, it automatically generates as your tag table, and it's fine for that because you can do add and then I can add a tag. But the problem is when I start pressing things like that, I can't get that, and you see there's this bug. So I physically now can't do variable memory mapping. It's really going to be. See now it's starting to write it, and see now it's written it all. But I wouldn't want to be having a large tag table, having a lot of numbers in that, and then trying to force it to come on, because now you'd be pressing these buttons, and the old variable memory space that could be easily screwed up. Same with this one here. It sort of I have to do all this wandering around. I've logged a support request with Siemens. We just see if anyone else has got that problem. Likewise, so now this is clearly a bug there. You got to come out and do, which that's not. It's not right, is it? That's just they changed screens just to get rid of it. Web pages look good. This is all inbuilt, so that's good. And you can. So if I went to, so you can put a, I put an import or an output on. And then, what the hell, how do you do this now? Anyone remember it? Was it one of them? I can't remember. Then right, that pushes it. That shows you where you've gone. And then you do your. So that's input one, is it? Oh, well, no, because you got to make your tag tables, and that would be. But we can make that. So you go to the tag table, and then you'd make that Q1. Okay, that'll do. So we've made that Q1, right? And then if we do simulate and then go into there, this button here simulates it. And that puts it into a web page, and I can go in the and press that, and we can see the button's gone to on, and I press it again, it's gone to off. So that's handy because you'd be able to simulate without having to have a web page. You know, you just have to squirt it up to the cloud or run it on an SD card in the past. So that's a nice little feature. So the other problem I found is in properties. They've changed the way they do properties. So you've got diagram settings, device settings, and online settings. Access control again, I can't get that to press. So I can press that, but I can't get that to press. It's hit and miss if it'll open. So like now it seems to be opening something. And I've got the same in this one. If I go to, so some of it's really nice, but I can't get that one. And you see it's sort of doing things here. So there's clearly, I just click around, eventually I get something, but it's still buggy and there's something there. So I think it'll be good when they fix it all, but at the moment, for me, it feels, if I'm the only one having this, then hopefully it's an easy fix. But if everyone's having this, then it seems like I have to sort it because you couldn't do a program with this. But the new hardware's not out, not really available for another 6 weeks. I can't get hold of it from the wholesaler. I'm waiting 6 weeks for the parts to come. So maybe they'll release a version to fix it. Hopefully that. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers.